I'm ready to slash and burn.
No quarter. I am going to be uncomfortable and all over you from start to finish.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Box. And this is my May NHRL event review, just to kind of, give my thoughts on the event and also talk about and share my matches as an experience of a new driver to doing all the fun robot stuff. So I first want to say, just overall, it was an amazing experience. I knew it would be, from having watched so many of the streams, but to actually be there and experience that, really community feeling in person was amazing. So hats off to everyone at Norwalk for cultivating this experience that I know so many people love. And I mean, really, it was just an amazing event. I've heard a lot of the folks there say this is the best event that they've ever had. And, I can say from the experience of being there that I truly felt that when I was there. I will say that there were definitely, people that were missed. For example, Craig Danby, who was not able to make the event, just one of the best people in combat robotics. So Craig, hopefully I'll catch you at the next one. And yeah, I mean, like, she definitely shout outs to so many people that were just amazing there. Shout out to Team Sus for entertaining my child and letting her meet a friend and get to drive some robots and participate in some grudge matches, obviously, as well as Tom Farkas, who was a big part of that and made my kiddo just the most amazing little rainbow robot that I know that she loves and she's going to be excited to drive very soon. I got to meet a lot of people that I hadn't met before, saw some old friends, of course. And yeah, it was incredible. Now I will say, after having been there, that anticipation and lead up to the first fight is real, especially depending on what part of the qualifying you're in. And I just happened to be in like that last group of that initial qualifying. So I definitely had a while to wait. And it was a debate for hours on, do I wait in this area or do I go try and, do something else and watch some fights? And inevitably, as soon as I decided to leave and go watch some fights, then Naga got called for the first match. So, that was definitely an interesting experience. I did get to meet my opponents before the match, which was a bot named BullHog, and you'll be able to see it in the clip and everything. First time builders and drivers, I believe, and it's a scary looking robot. I wasn't really sure how that was going to go. I knew it was going to be a good match, but as you'll see in the clip, it was, for a while there, it was definitely like, it was very back and forth. In the beginning, I got a couple, hits. They ended up on their back, and I think like that, as well as, you don't see the whole match, but I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, later on in the match they end up flipped again, and stay that way for a little while. So I feel like that was probably a factor in the way that the decision went down. But they were really great. That was definitely, for me, I felt like it was my closest match of the whole day, where I wasn't really sure how the judge's decision was going to go. So kudos to them. And I mean, I think that that's going to be a bot that will be a force to be reckoned with in the future. They, like, after they fought me, they ended up fighting Twin Beast, and like, that's difficult. And honestly, like, I thought that match looked good. They looked good for a while. So yeah, I mean, you can watch the match, you can see how it went, at least the portion that was shown. And yes, Chris and Kyle, you know, if you're into outside of the box tights, which, you know, if you see the commentary in this match, anybody that's watching this, you'll get what I'm talking about. Yes, that you can absolutely purchase those, and I encourage anyone to purchase the leggings. So anyways, hope that you enjoy this clip, and then we'll go on.
Can't wait to see them. All right, so speaking of cool bots, let's go to cage 6.
3, 2, 1, fight, robots, fight!
So what do we have here? Wow, so slow moving. So this is BullHog and Naga.
Naga, you see, that is there with the blue kind of armor package around it.
Wow, nice hit there from Naga, taking it back. BullHog's got a very slow, methodical tempo to the way that it rolls around. Now it's upside down. Naga is being driven by our friend Christine Giver. She's with the Outside the Box podcast and YouTube channel. She is so excited to be here. She brought her daughter today. Daughter has a mini bot that she's actually going to be driving a little bit later on that Tom Farkas built for her. This is Christine's first ever robot competition. First time driving a bot. She said that this whole experience has been surreal for her. One of the things that I also noticed while I was talking to her in the pits this morning, she's completely themed out. She's wearing outside the box tights.
Are those available online?
I think that they are going to be available for purchase online. Yes, has the podcast logo on them and everything. I was like, are you wearing tights that match your podcast? She was like, of course I am.
Oh, I know what I want for Christmas.
Nice, that pin into the corner there.
Great control and aggression that we're seeing. And I think we're going to pivot to cage 1, where we have some other bots kind of loaded up, ready to go.
So, yeah, that was my first fight. It was a judge's decision. I believe I had to wait a while to get to the answer on that one. But it's so funny because I went into this and I was like, you know, I just want to have fun, you know, see how I can drive, stuff like that. But after you get that first win, you know, I think something changes. It certainly did for me, where I was like, no, I actually want to win matches. I want to keep winning matches. This is, you know, really cool. Because I wasn't sure that I expected to win that first one. So I was really excited to have an opportunity to, you know, keep going and actually be in the bracket, which again, like, that took a little while because all of the qualifying matches had to finish up before the bracket could be finalized. So I was really excited for that opportunity. And my first opponent in the bracket was Mooncake, which Nathan, the builder / driver, is just a wonderful person, like so enthusiastic about combat robotics. You know, got an opportunity to see his bot before the fight. You know, he came over and saw Naga, and you know, I felt a little bit bad because I think, you know, he knew that it probably wasn't the best matchup for his robot, being a ring spinner, and, you know, Naga is a really powerful drum. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit confident going into that, because, you know, I knew that as long as I could drive well, and keep the, you know, the drum pointed at him, that I would probably be able to get through that match. And as you'll see in the fight, you know, I got Mooncake flipped quite a few times, was able to get those hits in. And, Nathan was so gracious after the fight. He came over, gave me a little bit off of his robot, which was really cool. So I will treasure that forever. I really feel like this was my best fight. I was able to do everything that I wanted to do. It did go to a judge's decision. So again, like, kudos to his building ability to withstand, all of those hits and stuff like that and keep going until the end. But just a fantastic fight. So, I hope everybody enjoys this one.
Oh, well, we have been summoned to cage 6 here. Moonfight and Naga.
Mooncake, I believe, is the round white one?
Yes, yes.
Naga being the blue drum?
Now, Mooncake is an interesting robot. It's a ring spinner.
Okay.
Not the full shell does not spin, the entire body does not spin, but it's got this ring of kind of spinning death that comes around the outside of the robot. And unfortunately, going up against a drum like Naga, it's kind of a rough matchup.
Yeah, tossed like a coin.
Yeah.
Luckily with the ring spinner design, though, you do have invertibility.
Yes, oftentimes you can't get that, generally speaking, with the shell spinner.
Right.
But it works just fine with Mooncake. Now I want a Mooncake. Have you ever had like an actual?
I've only had a moon pie.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know a lot about them, but they're really a nice treat. You should try one sometime. Anyhow, let's see. Aside, because apparently I'm hungry. Naga flipping Mooncake pretty well there. I think this, yes, the outside ring on Mooncake is just down for the count, so it is very much just a coin flip after coin flip. Oh, the weapon spinning up just a little bit.
That's good. With the last 10 seconds, let the judges know your weapon is still functioning.
I mean, it can be very important, but Naga really seems to have dominated this fight. I'm not expecting a big surprise coming from the judges on this one. And that is your match.
So I was pretty excited to have one win in the bracket. And, I felt like, hey, that's awesome. I made the bracket. I got a win. Cool. Obviously, I wanted to keep winning matches, but then I saw my next match was against Inside Job, which for anybody that doesn't know, Inside Job is a Joe Fabiani robot, which is the creator of SME. It is a very good robot. It is a like pincher crusher type of robot. It was very daunting, not just because of the type of robot but this is a BattleBots builder. This is someone who's been building for years. And I kind of told myself, well, this is probably going to be it. And if I go out, this is a good way to go out. And David and I had a conversation before the match, because he let me know like, hey, if they get a pinch and it's near the battery, like, do you want Naga to be completely destroyed or do you want to tap? I like, even though it's not my robot, it's a beautiful bot. Like, I have respect for David and his building. So I was like, if that ends up happening and like we're about to get pinched and blown up, tap. I don't want to destroy this robot. So we had already had this agreement. So when you watch in the fight, you'll see, at the beginning, they get a pinch and it was very close to that area. I was very concerned, and it was something I think instinctual that kicked in that moment, because David was really close to tapping because it was, it was looking like that was what was going to happen. And I just got it in my head where I was like, nope, like, we're not doing this, not today. And so I kind of came up with this strategy in my mind, as you'll see, where I was like, I am just going to try with all that I have to drive around, like swing this robot around, try and knock it into the side of the wall to get it off of me, or at least like get it where the pincher isn't, where, where the battery is. So, it just starts like whipping around. I think they ended up getting like another pinch, but then after that, when I saw that I had an opportunity, first of all, I wanted to make sure that I stayed away from the pincer, but also tried to drive around and get hits on the areas where it would be safer for me to do that. And so that's kind of what I did. I ended up, the robot ended up on its head at the end of the match, and like it was very close. But you can see like the expressions on my face and David and Lucy. I felt pretty confident that in that like last minute that I had won that fight. And it was just like the thing of the day with judges' decisions. But you'll see the match and all of that, and it's definitely a good one. And I was really proud, of what I was able to do. Joe's such an amazing builder, and like it was a great match.
All right, we're gonna head over to Cage 2. We've got inside job here from SME captain Joe Fabiani on BattleBots, facing off against Christine Giver, a friend of the pod. She runs her own BattleBots podcast called Outside the Box. She's running Naga here.
2, 1. Fight.
She's been doing very well driving today, but she's now up against a phenomenal driver in Joe Fabiani.
Joe Fabiani, in one of his earlier matches, he punctured the top plate of his opponent so badly that they had to stop the match entirely and send it to the judges. They were unable to physically unstick these two robots. And I have no idea how he got back into the box. Maybe he had to, go with another tooth here. Now here we've got a good pinch here, and you can see Brandon Zielinski, he's in charge of the beak. He's trying to show the ref that he is trying to release Naga. Here's another good pin from Joe Fabiani on Naga. And here comes that pinch.
Inside job, completely brushless weapon system for this particular event.
Oh, that is right on the center of the plate here on Naga.
Totally reinforced crushing mechanism. It is the fastest and strongest this crusher has ever been.
Now, can the pincher crack through that top plate on Naga?
So far, it has not been able to, but still able to control this fight.
Now, this is Christine Giver's very first competition ever.
This is like the 4th time she's ever driven a robot, like right now.
Jumping into the deep end with NHRL and running a polywog variant built by Ribot captain David Jin. You can see him right there, cage side, standing next to Christine, giving her encouragement. We're seeing BattleBots builders and captains on both sides of this box. Joe Fabiani really desperate to land another pin here. But I'm going to say it, he hasn't really damaged his opponent very much at all. Christine here driving around the back of inside job, really hoping to land a hit on the back of the robot. Here we go. There we go. There's a good pin, Christine.
Nice pin and grind from Christine. It does seem like the right side drivetrain on inside job is not functioning as well as it possibly could.
Yeah,
a little bit of shifty crab walking going on.
This pretty mobile crab walking, but crab walking nonetheless here from Joe Fabiani. He's tested that top plate, and he's unable to pierce it. Here we go, Christine. It's time to kill. 10 seconds left here in this fight. Both of these robots have escaped the countout. They will take this to the judges. The judges will decide who will be advancing to the round of 16. Round of applause here.
Nice job, Christine. All smiles over on that side of the box. She had a great time.
So yeah, that was a pretty awesome match to have won. I was very excited. And so then, we moved on, and my next match was versus Canterbury, which is a horizontal. And, again, that team, they were so nice to talk to, got a chance to chat before the match and everything else like that. And I was excited to get to fight them. And so, yeah, as you can see in the match, I also felt pretty good, about this one. Like I was struggling to control the robot at times, but for anybody that's not driven a two-wheel drive bot, especially like a drum spinner like that, and I think Ricky and Henchman Sam touch on this in their commentary during the match, but it is difficult. It can be difficult for people who have driven a robot, but not having ever driven one before, it was a challenge. And there were times where I really felt like I was fighting the robot to make sure that I could control it. But as you can see in the match, I was able to pop them up, get under them quite a bit. And I would say that was the difference in the match, but just a really good fight. It was probably, I don't know, it might've been one of my favorite fights of the whole entire day. So really good, and you can have a watch.
We're getting back into the 3-pound action now. Naga going up against Canterbury. Canterbury sitting in the blue square,
8,
of course, and
7,
Naga in the pink.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And away we go.
Up to
Robots
speed,
fight.
lickety split.
Canterbury, very large, very out there horizontal spinner. Naga, on the other hand, very compact. That is so much robot in such a small package, and then such a different approach to have the wide, spread out. A little bit of a glitch there. Weapon back up to speed on Canterbury. Now, Sam, you notice the kind of blue hockey puck above and below the weapon?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
So that is more or less their contact point with the floor. It needs to be wide like that so that there's a lot of surface area. It won't get caught up, and it can kind of glide. But unlike a lot of these robots, that whole thing drags on the ground.
As opposed to just like the shaft itself dragging?
Right, right. And that's why they can manage to have that so much reach, have that weapon so far out in front of them.
I guess that stabilizes the front end a bit too.
Very much so.
Such a wide contact point.
However, not really coming that into play right now.
Looks like Naga's still spinning though.
Still spinning, struggling to control the match, but trying its best. Definitely showing some aggression.
I would say Naga would be a very tough robot to pilot for your first tournament. That two-wheel drive is difficult to steer, and when you throw a big, powerful spinner in there as well, it just...
It can be a struggle even for the most talented of drivers. Absolutely.
But Christine's handling it well. So for Canterbury, they're just hoping to swing that weapon into Naga's drum.
Yeah, that is essentially their only path forward here, is to try and knock out their opponent's weapon, going weapon to weapon. You see the white chassis of Canterbury. That's soft plastic. It'll take a beating, but realistically, the only good, hard piece of metal they have that could jam up their opponent is their weapon. Even if it doesn't work anymore, it's still a defensive and offensive tool that they have in their arsenal, and really the only tool that they have left, aside from just pure full send.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have the drive power to grab any pins. But
now, having driven robots like this, we're coming down on the last 10 seconds, last 2 seconds.
All right, that's going to do it for Cage 2. That one's going to the judges.
You can see Lucy weighing in there with driver Christine Givers. Freshman outing, if I'm right. This is a robot that they purchased off another team, or she purchased off another team. Was so in love with these events that just had to start driving, and here we are.
And now I've been watching her podcast for many months now, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. She's got some good guests on, She's got Ashley, who's up in pit control on pretty frequently. They go over some episodes of BattleBots. It's a good watch. So excited to see her here.
Yeah, I am as well. I would really enjoy. It's the Outside the Box podcast if you're interested in watching.
So there was that one, and that win somehow amazingly put me in the top 16, which I was insane to me. I couldn't even believe that was happening. And I'm sure that it was very stressful for David, since Pollywog was also in the top 16, and Lucy had Kablooey Tango, which was going along its path to the championship there as well, winning the bracket. So, and I also have to add too, because I want to make sure, since it was said in the commentary, I definitely did not buy Naga off of David. I don't own that bot. It was completely borrowed. I appreciate him letting me borrow it. It was a lot of fun to drive. I'd love to be able to drive it again in the future. But yeah, I don't own that robot. So yeah, just making sure that I make that clear. But so my final fight was against Backlash Wave and William Marchese. And I have to tell you, I went over and looked at the robot and I was like, oh, that looks pretty scary. It's a vertical, he's a really great builder. I know a lot of people at Norwalk really, love him and what he's been able to do. So, it was exciting to get the chance to fight him in that situation. Now, as you'll see in the match, this absolutely was my toughest match of the day, by a lot. That robot hit hard, way harder than I was expecting based on what I had gone through, for the whole day. And, it definitely took me by surprise. I think the unfortunate thing for me is that by that point, I still had drive in the robot, the weapon was still running, but when I got flipped, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't self-right, whereas earlier in the day when I had gotten flipped, I was able to do that. So the first time I was able to, get out of it with the unstick situation, but then having gotten flipped a second time, I wasn't able to get back over. And then that was a KO. But I have to say, earlier I was like, yeah, I'm going to lose to Inside Job, and that didn't end up happening. But I mean, it was a really great way to go out, to fight a bot that is fighting at its best. And not only that, but I could tell how much that win and getting on to the next round meant to William. So I have to be happy, for someone that's been able to accomplish something that really means a lot to them. And not that it wouldn't have meant something to me, it absolutely would have. But I mean, he really deserved that. And frankly, I'm not sure that I wanted to fight Fully Defined. I mean, there's the small part of me that's like, yeah, I want to fight Fully Defined, but at the same time, I didn't want to get destroyed. So that was that. And
yes. Oh my goodness, that is incredible. All right, we are heading right over to cage 2. More 3-pound action coming your way. This is Naga versus Backlash Wave.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Wow. Backlash Wave hitting harder than I think we have ever seen it in this competition today. So far, the reliability's been pretty good too, but Naga has been bulletproof. A really excellent bot for your first tournament. Very forgiving, able to take a lot of hits, and a weapon that just will not quit.
Oh, you can hear that weapon is starting to scratch on the ground. That is not a good place to be. It's hard to see on screen, but there are little outriggers that stand that drum just off the ground, as close as possible to the ground. Woo! When those outriggers get knocked off, It starts to drag. When it starts to drag, it starts to wear down the system. There's a risk of catching fire. There's a risk of your weapon just not being able to spin anymore, and that's a bad place to be this deep in.
Weapons not spinning, Backlash Wave's weapon just went down. Is it able to spin back up, or has he lost it?
I don't know. Kyle, it looks like the belt may still be there, but it is certainly not moving.
And it does look like Naga stuck up against the wall. They're getting their one unstick. Well, sort of.
Getting the one more stick.
There we go. All right, that worked out a little bit better. Oh, the weapon back up on Backlash Wave. They were just saving it.
Little fake me out. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, nasty hit there. William Marchese being absolutely relentless in this matchup. Now, it does look like the right side drivetrain on Backlash Wave is having some issues.
It is either not functional at all or severely struggling.
So the referee is counting. That is a knockout!
Your winner is Backlash Wave.
Knockout.
Wow, Christine Giver having a phenomenal first event. Going on a great run.
Yeah, for a first event, this is an absolute, absolute victory. Even if they didn't make it, or shouldn't make it quite to the finals.
Yeah, all the way to round 4, going out against a veteran.
Look at these hits, one after another. Just head over heels. And you gotta remember too, sometimes you roof shot someone and sometimes they just do backflips. It's the same energy.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it spins in midair and that energy is imparted when it hits the ground, and sometimes it just hits the roof. Either way, you gotta hit hard.
Yeah, that was really, really impressive. Backlash Wave will go on to face Fully Defined in the next round. Scary competitor in Fully Defined. Absolutely beautifully engineered bot.
Yeah, all of these competitors this deep into the tournament are absolutely terrifying and super friendly and nice at the same time.
And so, it was definitely an exciting day. I got to meet so many amazing people. And I think, the experience really made me want to keep doing this. Amazingly, it made me want to, have my own robot that I'm not borrowing. Not that I'm going to build it, even though, there's part of me that's like, yeah, I could do it, but I know that I'm not going to be able to do it as much, as well as someone who has that experience. And so, Poison Apple is in the works and going to be coming soon, and hopefully coming to Norwalk later this year or early next year. But I'm excited about it, and just thank you to the community for supporting what I do and giving me the confidence to feel like I could also do this. And that's something that NHRL is so great at, showing people like, hey, you don't have experience, you could do this too. So it's an exciting thing. Can't wait for the next event. It's going to be great. Thank you to everyone, and we'll see you next time on the show.